Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to another real-time edit. Today I have this Great Egret that I shot while out on the floating hide, and I was shooting through a bunch of these grasses, which was pretty cool, and it gave just a pretty unique look to the photo. And it was pretty cool that I managed to get the eye and the head just like pretty sharp through all of that. In fact, yeah, the eye and the bill kind of looks really sharp, and then everything else kind of just fades away. So I do want to start just lightening the image a little bit and then bringing the blacks back down. I'm actually going to drop the shadows just to get everything. I want this background a little bit darker and the white to stand out a little bit more. So I'll just go ahead and kick the whites up and actually bring the highlights up. Compositionally, I'm happy with it. It looks a tiny bit crooked in the water to me. Maybe a little bit more than that. Something like that maybe. Looks pretty straight. I don't know. It's hard to see a water line, so let's see what else. Just going to darken the bottom half with the graduated filter here. Not that much. And I think everything else can happen in Photoshop. So I'm going to hop on over to there and start doing some editing. I don't have a lot to do to this. So I think the first thing I'll start with is a retouch layer here. And I'm just going to get rid of this one stalk right there and see if I can just get that. There we go. That went away really easily. Thankfully, there's a nice pattern of grass down in here that easily hides any bit if it's just off a little bit. I think that was kind of the one. This one just going right through here is a little bit distracting, so I'll see if I can just kind of reduce the effect of that as well as that one. Just kind of jump around on these two here. Oops. That wasn't a good clone. Let's try that. That's looking a little bit better. There we go. All right, cool. I wish I didn't have the shadow of its own neck on the back there. Like if that was just clean, that would be better. But I could remove it, but I don't know. It's going to look weird in there without it. So I think I'll just leave it for now. I did really have to pay attention to the head angle on this bird when it was walking that way, because if it turned its head towards me even just a little bit, it got the whole side of the head in shade, and then so it had to turn away just enough to get the light in the eye. But then if it turned too far away, then it was like looking away. So anyway, I think I'm going to do just an overall darker on the entire image, because again, I really want to make this dramatic background with the bird kind of in the sun and just popping out of that. So just darken the whole thing, and then just come into the layer mask here and paint out that darkening effect so that the bird is still a little bit lighter and standing out. So this is just going to be a little tedious while I select just the bird there and try not to overlap into the background too much. There we go. And then down at the bottom here, I think I can kind of let it fade a little bit, but let's see. Let me just paint that in real quick overall. And then I'll just come back with a softer brush and kind of paint it back out. That's what I'm thinking at this point. So let's see how this works. Yeah, we'll just stop it right by there. There we go. I'll get a soft brush and paint with black with some other way. Paint with white with some opacity. Bring some of that darkening back, and then just blend that in. And then maybe along the back of the neck here, I'll just take some of that off because that looked a little odd. And there we go. Nice. All right, that got a little too dark right up in that corner, so I'll brighten that up a little bit. In fact, maybe I'll just brighten the sky totally a little bit more. And I mean, gosh, I don't know. There's not a lot more to do to this. The front of the bill could use... Oh, I missed a spot there. There we go. The front of the bill, I think, could use a little bit of lightening. So I'm just going to kind of softly dodge that. You know what? I don't like the way the dodge actually looks on it, so I'm going to do another curve adjustment that lightens it and adds a little bit more contrast than my normal dodging layer. So there we go. That's better. And then I'll just grab the hard brush and get rid of the effect on the background here. And that should give me a nice soft gradient that lightens towards the tip there. Yep, there we go. Really make that bill stand out. The eye is already standing out plenty. I think the only other thing left, and it was the case, there was kind of some darkish, stormy-ish clouds back there. So I'm just going to make them a little bit more bluish and a little bit more cyan to really make that skyline stand out back there. So there we go. Nice. Yeah, I'll just paint in some of that. And I think it's a little too cyan, so I'll back off the cyan some on that. And I think I'm pretty done. Let's try just a little bit of dodging right around the head here. Let's see if we can just get the eye and maybe those lures to stand out a little bit more, and then maybe just soften that shadow line along the head there. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's better. Nice. All right, I'm liking that. So there's before, after. Should be a pretty good change when we go back to the original in Lightroom, just because I added a significant amount of contrast and darkening and just made it all a little bit more dramatic. So let's check that out. Wait for it to show up here in Lightroom. And there's my total before and after. And yeah, look at that contrast difference. And I think the lack of contrast on this one is just coming mostly in part due to the fact that I was shooting through so much grass that was out of focus. It just kind of put like a fog over the whole thing. And so now I get to keep that really cool pattern and get the contrast back and the saturation and the pop and all that. So it looks really good now. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn more about what I'm doing here and work with me, hop on over to rayhennessy.com. Just check out the website and go to the workshop section. You can go to the online workshops and look for the remote session. Or if you want to work with me a little bit more of an ongoing basis, you can hit the mentorship section. So thanks again, and I'll see you on the next real-time edit.